Buongiorno, buonasera a tutti. Mi sentite? Can you hear me? Perfetto, mi sentite? Benissimo. Cominciamo fra poco. Perfetto, perfetto. Buonasera, ci siete tutti? Wow, siete già 49. There's already 49 of you. How's the volume of my mic? Is it too loud? Is it good? Perfetto? Ah, perfetto, wow. I'm a bit stressed every time I go live and it's been a while, so perfect, everything is good. Bene, allora, I'm going to switch to the camera in a second. Oh, che bello, sono contentissimo di essere qui, veramente contento. E eccomi! Ciao! Come state? Buonasera a tutti o buongiorno se siete in Asia o in Australia. Mi sentite? Allora, vediamo. Sì? Perfetto, benissimo. Ok, allora cominciamo fra breve. So we're going to do two things. The first section is going to be me answering your Italian language questions relating to the course. Whichever unit you're in, you can say, okay, unit 5, I'm not sure about this, then I will help you with that. We'll try and move quickly. But yeah, that's how I'm going to help you first. Then I will open to questions that are not necessarily direct linked to the units. It's something that maybe it's just your curiosity, and I will try and address some of those. I already have a list of questions that came through. Bene, okay. And then once we're done with that, if you have to go, that will probably take maybe, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes. After which we'll move on to the second part of the webinar, which is where I tell you which direction we're going with the platform, improvements, solutions, bugs, ideas, suggestions, complaints, things like that. But if you're only interested in the language, then that's time for you to go. Speaking of that, siete pronti? Benissimo. Speaking of that, I'm your language coach. I mean, I'm your Italian language teacher. I produce the content for you. You're here because you're wanting to learn Italian. So as I mentioned in an earlier email, I don't want the other stuff to overshadow the importance of the training. So I'm like your private tutor. So imagine that you're going out on your, I don't know, you don't find people on Yellow Pages anymore, right? But, online, Craigslist or Gumtree, and you find your tutor, well, I'm that person helping you, but at a fraction of the cost, because I don't teach anymore, but if I were to teach privately, it would probably cost around $50 an hour at least. So the beauty of this platform, the internet, is that you get all the training that you would have to see somebody for, all given to you through video format with material. So that's the main thing. And that has never really failed us. The platform has driven us crazy. So we are leaving it behind. Anyway, perfetto. Johan, hai dimenticato il webinar? Cosa intendi? What do you mean? That's it. Isn't this the webinar? Oh my. Okay, allora. Let's start with the questions. So if you have a question that is relating to a unit of level 1, ask the question, and there is a way for you to mark that it's a question because I won't be able to read all the comments because I'm looking at the camera. But if there's a question, then it will be marked as yellow. For example, Gabriel or Gabriel. I think I know you, Gabriel. Come si pronuncia? Well, you started with the most challenging question for me because that sound, GLI, has a very peculiar pronunciation. Now, not all Italians can produce it. Depends where you're from. I'm from Rome, so we don't have a strong version of that. No, I still say it, but my sound for that is not the best. But the sound is ye, so ye. Some books of English will tell you that it's like a double L, but it's not. Because L is frontal, whereas that sound in Italian is ye, it starts from the throat. So, sorry. So you should think of Italian ye as a relative to g, because English g is from the throat. So if you keep that idea of the y, so you're still kind of working from your throat. Now, Gabriel, since you are Mexican, it's the same as double L in some versions of Spanish. So paella, that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's that kind of y. Bene, Romas, when to use quindi? Quindi has two major roles. One is pretty much as an empty word. It's like the English so. What are we doing? So. I personally use allora to mean that empty so. So what's happening? That kind of thing. So I tend to say allora. Quindi has very similar meaning. Quindi by itself translates the idea of therefore. So, for example, andiamo in vacanza in Italia e quindi prenotiamo un albergo. So we're going on vacation to Italy and therefore we are booking a hotel. So that quindi is therefore because it introduces the consequence of the first thought and it leads on to the second thought. Bene? If you have a question, mark it as a question. That way it appears in red for me and I can see it. Otherwise, I will just miss all of them. I'll have a look. Good question, Gordon. Are we meant to fully understand your welcome message in Italian at the beginning of Unit 9 or in general? No, you're not. I love that question because it's a very important point. When you're learning a language, I mean, you're in a safe environment inside the platform because you are learning and it's learning mode. So I'll try to feed you the right things, but it would not serve you to only feed you what you know, because that's not what's going to happen in reality. Recently, I saw a suggestion for a global glossary of every word that I will say during the unit to be published at the beginning. That wouldn't really serve you because you will never be in a position in life where you know every single word that Italians are going to tell you. It's the same for your own language. I mean, there are so many words that you don't know of your own language, but when people use them, you still understand. So the idea is that I'm challenging you. So those welcome messages in Italian or anything that I do that is fully in Italian, you should see it as a challenge, meaning it helps you train your flexibility and your ability to understand stuff even when you don't understand. There will be times when it's easier. There will be times when it's harder. So no, you're not meant to understand those. Okay. Now, let me figure out how to say that I've already answered the question. Okay. So I don't answer it again. Oh, I don't know. Okay, Lucia. There was an example, I don't know in what unit. Perché vado dal dottore? But vado da nonna and not dalla mia nonna. Good. So when you use vado with the preposition da, as I'm going to a person, it tends to combine with the article of the thing that you're going to. Like, dal dottore is da il dottore. So why not da nonna, dalla nonna? With family members, with possessives, Italian is very peculiar about possessives, meaning we don't use them as much as we do in English. So in English, you go to your grandma. In Italian, you just go to grandma because whose grandma are you going to go to? It's the same for everything else. Like in English, you say, I'll take my car to come to wherever. Well, in Italian, just take the car, because whose car are you going to take if not yours? So in Italian, you will find that you don't need the possessive a lot of the time. So since you're going to grandma, not to my grandma, or you would not say like my grandma, okay? You just say grandma when you're going to her, right? I'm going to grandma's, not I'm going to my grandma's, because whose grandma's are you going to? So if, for example, I was going to your grandma's house, then I would say, vado, actually, there's something else. Should I say? I'll tell you. When we do learn the possessives, which is going to be next level, you will see, like Lucia, like you said, the Italian possessives come with the article. So it's la mia macchina, the my car. So we have the article that you don't have in English. But there is one big exception. With family members in the singular, we don't use it. So it's not la mia madre, but it's mia madre. It's not il mio fratello, but it's mio fratello. So for family members, we will just not use the article. So that's why you don't see it there, even if you wanted. Benissimo. Alan, when you look up a dictionary with many different meanings for the same word, how do you know which one is the best? Cool. Yeah, good question. Good question. There's a couple of strategies. Actually, I probably touched on that in a later unit. I don't know where you're at, but the best thing is to use a good dictionary because it will have examples. So best tip would be to read all the examples, because the examples are both in English and in Italian, and then you get to understand which nuance of that word they're using in the example. The other thing that I think is going to be super important for you, and I hope you realize that this program doesn't treat you like a child like many other programs. So I treat you like an intelligent adult who can understand concepts like language concepts, because you're fluent in your own language, so you know language. Here's what I would suggest. Whenever you look a word up, you have to identify what that word is in your language. For example, let's say like let's take a word shore, as in like the beach, the shore. Well, you can look it up, but are you looking for shore, the noun, or to shore when your boat gets to the shore? So yeah, that was a very basic example, but many times an English word could be a noun, or it could be an adjective, or it could be a verb. So you have to know what quality you're looking for, what real meaning. Once you know that you're looking for a verb, then it's going to narrow down your selection of options. When you know that you're looking for an adjective, again, you're going to narrow down the options as an adjective. And then, so read the examples then. And then what I would suggest, and I did suggest in the unit, I think, if you have a sentence that you want to verify, Google it with in quotes as a whole sentence and see if you get hits. If you get enough hits, then probably you're using the right one. But the best way to check which one of the two options, because a word could have 5 options, but once you narrow it down, because you know what quality of word you're looking for, you read the examples, but you're still not sure about 2, then Google option 1 or option 2. Option 1 vs versus option 2. You will find somebody has found the answer for that. Okay. Romas, is there going to be speaking in the course? Well, here's the thing. Actually, I was talking recently with the moderators. I am your private tutor, but at the same time, currently I have 400 of you. Soon there'll be thousands of you. Also, the cost of the platform is currently what it is, which is crazy low, considering that it's the cost of half an hour of seeing a teacher. So basically, it's financially and physically, timely impossible for me to be able to offer you speaking. The way I see the platform as a great tool for you to learn the language, let's be realistic. No one tool is going to make you learn anything. So I'm your coach, I'm your guide, I have material, I have the content that I think is suitable, but you still have to go out and then expose yourself to more Italian, try to chat with people, use language exchange platforms, you have to use books, you have to watch movies. I don't provide all of that because it's just impossible. In terms of me speaking to thousands of people, it's impossible to do it one-on-one. There is something that is in the pipeline though, and I will talk about the future and of the platform and how from Italy Medici Academy is going to really change the way you are learning Italian. Right now, what you are experiencing now is only the beginning. We're just scratching the surface of how much this private tutor can do for you. I'm not a Rosetta Stone, I'm not a Pimsleur, I'm not a corporation. You are hiring me as your tutor at an incredibly crazy low price, but also with some technology. That's why I hope you understand when something don't work. I'm just your private tutor. Imagine you're seeing somebody, you pick up the phone and it's a busy line. Stuff will happen, okay? Or maybe you're waiting for your tutor and the car broke down and is a bit late to your lesson. So I like to see myself as your private tutor, but I cannot possibly speak to everybody. But there is something coming up and I'll tell you later. Okay. Dolly, Unit 11. If you're not a Unit 11, don't let this scare you, okay? Would you explain the use of va di andare when stating you feel like? Okay, so when you use the verb andare, which literally means to go, it can be used in a creative way, just like the English verb to feel. Now, to feel means what it means. But then you use it to say, I feel like going out, or I feel like pizza. Now, you don't really feel like pizza because that would be weird, right? If you felt like pizza. But that's what it means. So andare has the same coolness that can be used to mean I feel like. So how do you use it? Well, you will need the indirect pronoun. In your case, it's going to be me because you feel like it. So it's going to be me in most cases. Then you will use the verb andare in the third person because okay, so in English, when you say I feel like, I is the subject of the verb feeling. In Italian, the subject of the verb andare is going to be the thing that you want to do. So, mi va la pasta. We're saying va because the subject of va is la pasta, it's not me. So la pasta goes to me. Mi va la pasta, la pasta goes to me. That's the idea. So mi va la pasta, or if what you feel like is a plural, then mi vanno I biscotti. The biscuits go to me, meaning I feel like them. The easier option, which is the one you're asking, when you feel like doing an action, it's always going to be mi va di plus the infinitive of the verb that you feel like doing. So mi va di dormire, I feel like sleeping. Mi va di giocare, I feel like playing. So that's about me. If I want to ask a friend, do you feel like playing? Then I'll just change the me, which means to me, and I will change it to ti, which means to you. So ti va di giocare? Do you feel like playing? So I hope that was the question you were asking. Lisa, ciao. I'm talking to you. Parlo con te o parlo a te? Does it mean the same? Yes, it kind of means the same. It's like in English, when you speak to somebody, you speak with somebody. It's kind of the same. If I see somebody and they're speaking with somebody, then I might say Marco parla con Lucia. But Marco parla a Lucia. They really have the same meaning, honestly. I have the sense that it's the same as English, if that's right in English. I don't know. Candice, confused as to when to use vivere and when to use abitare. Cool. In many cases, vivere and abitare are synonyms. Vivere literally means to live, and abitare means to inhabit, as in to reside. So in many cases, they can be used interchangeably. For example, io vivo a Roma or io abito a Roma. I live in Rome or I reside in Rome. It's the same meaning if that's what you mean. The only difference is that abitare really has to do with your residence, with your, in Italian, abitazione, which means dwelling. Okay. So you cannot use abitare for other meanings of to live. Whereas vivere means to live, as in my cat lives. Okay. Il gatto vive, like is alive. Okay. So it has the added meaning of live, as in to be alive or to be living. But in many cases, they are the same. So I wouldn't worry too much. I can ask you, dove abiti? Or formally, dove abita? where do you live, or dove vivi, or formally dove vive, same thing really. But for example, if I want to say we live in an era of, I don't know, I don't want to say any words that would make us feel anything. So we live in an era, blah blah. I cannot use abitiamo because it's about living and not residing. So I would say viviamo in un'era molto interessante. Viviamo, we are living. So I'm going to use vivere because it's about being alive, not residing. Okay. Joy, ciao. Is there an online thesaurus in Italian? Yes, there is, and I can. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I'll tell you what to look for. Okay, you call it in Italian. It's called Dizionario dei sinonimi e contrari, and that's why you couldn't find it probably because you were looking for thesaurus. Oh, so Dizionario dei sinonimi e contrari. Dizionario. I'll just type it and see because I use one that I cannot remember what it's called. Okay, so if you Google Dizionario dei sinonimi, it's like dictionary of synonyms. The first one is going to be from Corriere, which is a newspaper. I use that sometimes, but the best one, just historically, it's the next hit, which is Treccani. Imagine 3 dogs, Treccani with double C. So Treccani. I will type it later if you remind me when we switch to the screen sharing, okay? But if you go to treccani.it/sinonimi, you will have that on thesaurus. Treccani used to be the Italian encyclopedia. It's like Britannica. It's like Webster. It's the big name for Italian dictionaries and things like that. So that's the one I would recommend simply because of nostalgia, I suppose. Benissimo. Now, Sergi, I can learn units in 4 days. What can you suggest to do in order to enhance? We'll talk about modality of learning from the platform later. But I mean, you can learn in whatever amount you want, obviously. But from experience, I really know that it does take a bit longer for the brain to like retain and then recall something. So don't rush it. But yeah, I understand that sometimes in 4 days, if you can do like 2 hours a day, then of course you do it. I would recommend more practice more than more learning. So if you are done after 4 days, I would practice more. I would then, write down more sentences or try and say more things, or spend the time doing shadowing, spend the time watching movies, or doing something that would improve your Italian without learning new things personally. But I will tell you about options later, okay? Romas. Actually, let me see if this works. I'm able to actually show the questions on the screen. I just realized. Oh, I forgot. So let's see if it shows up. Te voglio dire. Yeah, it's at the bottom. Te voglio dire or voglio dirte. Neither. See, now this is a little bit advanced, but you shouldn't be using te. You should be using ti, as in ti. That means to you. So you could say ti voglio dire. To you, I want to tell, or voglio dirti. They're both correct. The easiest one for you as a learner is to stick with the first option, as long as you're using the T, not the te. And that's because it goes along with the rule that I told you that pronouns go before the verb. So I would say ti voglio vedere, I want to see you. Ti voglio parlare, I want to speak to you. It's easier to remember because it follows the same structure. But when you have 2 verbs, like modal verb and an infinitive, that T can be attached at the end of the second verb like you did. So, voglio dirti. So that's possible. And they're equally, like, honestly, there's no better one. It's just whatever comes out. I don't even have a preference, personally. I just say whatever comes out. Okay, Jason. Could you go over when and how to use visitare? I recall that it's not quite, yes. the main difference is that visitare in Italian means it's what the doctor does to the patient. So visitare has this medical sense of visiting a patient for a medical checkup. So I'm not saying that it doesn't mean to visit, but it tends to be used in that sense, like as in the doctor is checking out a patient. So that's why we don't use it much. Don't use it when you go visit people, because in Italian we would use the verb trovare, to find. So we say andare a trovare, to go and find somebody. Domani vado a trovare Maria. Tomorrow I'm going and visiting or seeing or finding Maria. So we're going to use trovare when it's about visiting people. It can be used with cities, okay? But it's still a little bit weird to say ho visitato Roma or domani visitiamo Roma. I would still say something like domani andiamo a vedere Roma, we go and see. So again, I wouldn't use visitare in that context. It can be used for visiting museums. For example, abbiamo visitato Pompei, or historical places or cultural places. Ho visitato Pompei, ho visitato i Musei Vaticani. But again, it's kind of strange, as in it's not common. It's just we don't say it a lot. So I would again use another option like ho visto Pompei, sono andato a Pompei, I went to Pompei. So basically, I say just don't use it as much or too much. Susan, you have a question about the test, and I will talk about all those things in the second part of the webinar. Now, Marcos, you told us that cha is always pronounced as in ciao, but it's different in farmacia. How do we know? Okay, cool. So whenever I tell you, like, what's it called? There's a word I forgot. When I tell you something, I say that's the universal truth. It never is, obviously. So I try to give you the thing that I know happens the most, so you don't have to worry. But yes, CIA in most words is pronounced cha, so the I is silent. Now, if you know in like technical words, that IA is a diphthong in English, dittongo in Italian. So we got two vowels. One is a weak vowel and one is a strong vowel. It's called dittongo. And that's usually the case of cha. It's got the dittongo and the I is silent. But in English, like in Italian, you can break a diphthong and make it into a hiatus. That is when you stress the weak vowel. So that's what happens in words like farmacia. The best tip that I would give you is if the word that you're trying to say has a similar version in English, like pharmacy, that's when it actually will break and it will become farmacia. Also, the same exception or the same lie I told you about ja, G-I-A. Ja is always pronounced ja with the silent I, like ja. But there are words when it's actually the diphthong, I can't pronounce it, it's broken, and we say geologia. So these are all the words that in English end with logi, like geology, philology. Any logi in English will become logia in Italian, so we are breaking it. So let me think. There's not many words that break the cha into chia, but you will find them. How can you predict them? It's really not that easy to predict them. Like I said, you'd have to think of what is this in English? Does it follow a pattern? The other thing that could help you is the places where we shop. They tend to end with ia. For example, trattoria, gelateria, macelleria, farmacia, because you buy stuff in it. So maybe that can help you kind of guess, remember, but there is no real answer. Now, Alan, your question is, I think it's a little bit advanced. For some things, I would like alcune o un po' di. So if you like some of something. Soon we'll learn the best way to say some. It's in level 2. and that's using something called partitivo. And now, if you're speaking, the most common one is going to be un po' di. Now, if you're speaking, it's un po' di. So, am I broadcasting? Yes. So, un po' di, it's a little bit of. So that's the most common when speaking. Alcune, and the variations of alcune, tend to be kind of more researched words, so not quite as common. The most nice sounding Italian for conversation is going to be the partitivo. If you want to look it up, it's partitivo, and we'll learn that in level 2. And basically, it's when we use the preposition di combined with the article, and we say del. So del means of the, usually, but we're going to use it to mean some. Vorrei del pane, I would like some bread. But we can say vorrei un po' di pane. Vorrei un po' di pane. Now, you can use un po' di most of the time, but of course, you cannot really use it for things that it doesn't make sense to say a little bit of. For example, you cannot really say un po' di amici, a little bit of friends. It would be better to say alcuni amici or degli amici using the other options. But I don't want to say too much because that's definitely an advanced question. Okay. Romas, what is the best way to say I would like to talk about? So I would like is vorrei. Vorrei. We're actually going to talk about that. I've got questions that I need to answer from that was sent in advance. Vorrei is I would like. To speak is parlare. Now in English you speak about something. In Italian, the most common preposition to say that would be di. Vorrei parlare di matematica. I like to talk about maths. I don't know. Vorrei parlare di. Another option that is possible, but it's a little bit more tricky to get it right, is su, so on. But I say go with di because it's going to be a lot more common that di works. So vorrei parlare di, and then whatever you want to talk about. Lou. Are there any rules for which syllables to accent in words without double consonants? Not really. Sadly, no. If you see an accent at the end of the word, then there is a rule, obviously, because if you see the accent, that's the one you're stressing. But no, there are really no rules. And there are words that trick Italians. Italians don't know the stress of some words because they think it's one way and it's the other. So not really. Not really. That's the short answer. Sorry, not really. Okay, Linda, would you please make sure you also read comments when you can? So you can feel how much we appreciate it. Well, grazie mille. So happy. Honestly, I don't know if you read that I recently quit my teaching job, and I'm so heartbroken because I've done that for so long and I love it. But you keep me happy, knowing that I can devote more time to you, and there's more of you, so I guess it's going to be better for me anyway, selfishly. I have access to the comments later, so once the webinar is over, I'll read all of the comments. Grazie mille. Alan, will we be able to watch this online again? Yes, once the webinar is over, it will be saved as a video, and you will automatically receive an email a few hours at the end, and then I will include this in the platform so you can all watch it. And let me see if we can wrap up and move on to the questions that were asked before. How do you know, all right, Tim, how do you know when to use the preposition a before an infinitive? Whew. Okay. With the verb andare, use it. Vado a Roma a studiare. I'm going to Rome to study. So even though in English you don't need the a, because to study is already an infinitive, in Italian you do because it's the verb andare, and it's always like that. Venire is another one that always wants it. So vengo a Roma a studiare. I'm coming to Rome to study. So again, you do it. There are no real rules because in most cases, the need of a preposition and a specific preposition is actually dependent on the main verb or the first verb that you're using. Think of in English to depend on. So it depends on whether that on is decided based on depend. So depend wants on. But then you listen to music. So listen wants to for no particular reason. So in Italian, there are a lot of words, a lot of verbs that work with one preposition and not the other. It's a matter of looking up the main verb that you're trying to use and then figure out whether it needs a preposition. For example, I'll just give you something, an example. Let's say the verb finire. Finire means to finish. If I say I finish, it's finisco. It's an irregular verb. So finisco means I finish. But if I finish eating, now I finish to eat or eating, but in Italian, I need to say finisco di mangiare. But that di, how do you know? That's because finire wants di. That's it. It's just how it is. Cominciare, which means to start, actually needs a. Comincio a parlare. I'm starting to speak. So cominciare wants a all the time. So it's more of a matter of knowing what the main verb is. Okay. Now, Alan, I'm struggling un po' the sentence with sentence structure. I want to buy some food now. It's in most cases. Oh, I'm just. Can you still see me? I froze for a second. Okay, good. In most cases, I would say that for statements, the structure is usually very similar. It differs when you're talking about third-person things. Sometimes because we tend to put the subject of the verb after the verb in Italian. When it's the third person, that's going to be different. And it's going to be definitely different in questions. But if you're trying to say something like, I want to buy some food now, you would go with, most of the time, with the idea of I want, voglio or vorrei, if you're being softer, to buy, comprare, some food, un po' di cibo, un po' di meaning some, cibo, food, now, adesso. The beauty of Italian is that it's a lot more flexible with blocks. So this sentence that I just said, voglio comprare un po' di cibo adesso, would be totally grammatically correct to say, un po' di cibo voglio comprare adesso. Now, is it normal? No. It sounds like Yoda a little bit, if you know what I'm talking about. So, but it's possible. In Italian, the blocks can be moved anywhere, so I wouldn't be too concerned about where you're putting the blocks, but the standard way is the most common. So, voglio comprare un po' di cibo adesso, but you could say, adesso voglio comprare un po' di cibo. What you put at the beginning of the sentence stands out more in Italian. So, if the main thing for you is to say, now I want to buy some food, like you're really stressing the now, I would put the adesso at the beginning. Adesso voglio comprare un po' di cibo. Not later. Okay, so that's the idea. And finally, that's the last question I take. Scusate, it's been already 40 minutes. Can I use mi va, Lucia, with plurals? Yes. Hold on, not mi va di, because mi va di is only for verbs. So mi va di, you have to put an infinitive. Mi va di mangiare, mi va di uscire e correre. I like to go out, I want to go out and run. Even if you have a bunch of verbs, it's going to be mi va di. When I said that it can be used with plurals, it's the expression without the di, which is used for nouns. For example, mi va la pizza, I feel like pizza. Mi vanno I biscotti, I feel like cookies. So I'm using vanno because cookies is plural. So that's right, okay? Okay, I'll take one more. Romas, is it a big deal to miss an article in front of the noun while speaking? No, not so much. Not so much. Actually, I have something about articles here. So please, no more questions because I want to answer the questions that were sent through in advance. But I'm going to focus, unfortunately, only on the questions that do relate to the content that we've covered. So, Joy, mi dispiace, I can't get your question about così and tanto right now. Where is it? And Michele or Michelle, I will try and answer maybe later, okay? Ali, vorrei... Oh, all your questions were beyond the level, beyond the course, so hold on. And Lou, Ken, okay. Okay, Nareen, I got you. When not to use the article. Overall, Italians are obsessed with articles, so we use the article a lot more than we do in English. Especially with certain verbs, like, for example, prendere. volere and piacere, they just want the article, so just use it. But the main difference of when to use it and when to not use it is that the article, like English, tends to be more specific, whereas not using the article tends to be very generic. So the example that Noreen had, that I can't show you because it's here on paper, is invitare gli amici per cena, to invite friends for dinner. Why not invitare gli amici per la cena, for the dinner? Here's two options. Per cena is a phrase, like for dinner. So it's not for the dinner. But why? I could say invitare gli amici per la cena di compleanno di Marco. So inviting friends for the dinner that we're having for Marco's birthday, because now it's a very specific dinner. It's the dinner. So you can do kind of the same thing in English at times, okay? So for example, if you say, I don't eat fruit, you're talking about generic fruit. Non mangio la frutta. Sorry, non mangio frutta. Sorry, non mangio frutta. That's totally grammatically correct because you're just talking about generally like fruit. You're not talking about, but if you say, non mangio la frutta del mio giardino, you must have the la because you don't eat the fruit of your garden. So it's specific type of fruit. So this is the main idea of when you can ditch it, when it's very generic statement. If it's a very generic statement, then you can ditch it unless the verb requires it. Romas, is it a big deal? Not really. No, it's not a big deal if you don't say it. It's fine. All right, now, I would like to, I feel bad not answering the other questions. So if you don't mind, the webinar might go a little bit over an hour. If you have to go, it was a pleasure to see you. Grazie mille. Now we'll do a lot more of these ones because I'm unemployed now and you are my only students. So that's great. So Joy wanted to know when to use words like così, so, tanto, a lot, molto, a lot, moltissimo, a lot. And the idea is that tanto and molto are pretty much synonym. So you can say mi piace molto la pizza or mi piace tanto la pizza. They're the same. The issimo version just means a lot, like a lot. So mi piace tantissimo la pizza or mi piace moltissimo la pizza. That's just it means really a lot. So if it's a super liking or super whatever, you're going to use that tantissimo or moltissimo. Così means so. So it can be used with an adjective afterwards. For example, quest'acqua è così buona. This water is so good. So così, so, plus an adjective, good. Quindi quest'acqua è così buona. So it's not quite the same as molto. So now I know that the reason you're saying that is that in English you say, oh, I love you so. Like I like it, as in so much, right? But in English you can just say so and be done with it. In Italian you cannot say quest'acqua è così. Così what? Okay, so you need to say what afterwards. Now, così can be used with tanto. Mi piace così tanto. I like it so much. So if you want to say so much, you can say così tanto. You cannot say così molto for some reason, just così tanto. And also, there's another word. There's two more words that I want to throw in the mix just to confuse you, Joy. Nah, you're doing fine. Is the word proprio, which means really, and it needs to be followed by something else. For example, proprio bello, really beautiful. But you could also say proprio molto, really a lot, or proprio tanto, really a lot. So proprio is another word I could use. And then you get the word troppo, which means too much. So if something is too much, then you can say troppo. But that's the main idea. Okay. Michelle or Michele, I don't know, sorry. Very quickly, how long does it take to start thinking in Italian or another language? And you know that it's a very personal question, obviously, as in it will depend. Okay, Susan, I'm so sorry. Usually webinars would be at a much more convenient time for North America and Asia, usually, and sometimes they work for Europe as well. So normally I would have the webinar 4 hours before this time, but today is just a very special day for me. I'm packing to go somewhere, and so I couldn't do it at the usual time. But usually there at that time, that works for most people. So sorry, buonanotte, buonanotte. Now, Michelle or Michele, how to start thinking in Italian? First of all, it will take time, and it's very subjective. Secondly, you can only do it when you have enough knowledge of the language. It's really rare that you could have a dream in Italian if you don't know enough Italian. Usually the subconscious knows more than you, because your subconscious remembers pretty much everything, and it's you who don't. But realistically, you cannot have a dream in a language that you don't speak. So you need to have a lot of Italian first. Okay, so having said that, how can you do it? I have some tips here that would really help you start dreaming in Italian. Now, one is the knowledge. You have to have knowledge of the language. But two, you have to immerse yourself as much as possible. It doesn't mean you have to be in Italy, but if you want to start dreaming in Italian, you have to have your brain hear Italian most of the time. So change your computer to Italian and your phone to Italian, obviously, as in operating system. But then have Italian videos playing in the background all the time. Watch movies in Italian with subtitles. You can even watch American blockbusters in Italian with subtitles. It's a fun experience. It's crazy, but if you want to watch it, if you don't want to watch an Italian movie, just watch a blockbuster. Watch it in Italian with subtitles. So you want your brain to really hear Italian a lot. The reason you dream in English, apart from the fact that it's your native language or whatever it is that you hear English all the time. So your brain is used to that. Think about why does it happen that if you start thinking a lot about a holiday, you dream about the holiday? It's because your mind was focusing on that holiday, and then it comes in your dreams. So you really do need to think a lot about Italy and Italian. The other thing is that you should definitely do this before going to bed. We tend to dream about the last thing that we thought about. So if you spend the last half an hour really thinking about Italy, or being in Italy, or talking to Italians, shopping in Italy, and then you fall asleep, you're more likely to then get a dream in Italian. And then And then you do have to start conversing with Italians. So if you have Italian friends, talk to them before going to bed. Or if you don't have Italian friends, jump on a platform like GoSpeaky or Hello Talk, where you can exchange language and speak Italian to those people. And then just before going to bed. Okay, so these are my ideas on how to start dreaming in a foreign language. Now, Ali, I may switch to I'm actually really scared because this webinar has gone so smoothly. I'm so impressed of technology today. Even the video quality is good, but Ali has the question about vorrei. Now, vorrei, I told you it means I would like. It technically doesn't. It means I would want. Vorrei is a conditional of the verb volere. So it's like saying I would want. But basically, it renders the idea of I would like. So, but Ali had the problem like, vorrei means I would like, but I would like to be able to say we would like and would you like and so on. So I'm going to, actually, if it's okay, I will type it, instead of switching to a screen share, which might mess up the stream and I don't want to, I'll just write it in the chat. And I'm just going to give you the whole conjugation. Io vorrei, tu vorresti, you would like, lei or lui vorrebbe, he or she or you, sir, would like. Noi vorremmo. Careful because you got double R and double M. Noi vorremmo, we would like. Voi vorreste, you guys would like. And loro vorrebbero, double R, double B, they would like. So if you need to use them, here they are. And it's a tense that you don't know, but it's fairly safe to use anyway. Like if you say vorrei prenotare, I would like to book, then you say vorremmo prenotare if it's we. So you can use it. I don't have anything against it. The one thing that I want to suggest is that you may not need it in Italian, because if you, for noi, you need it. But for lei, if you're talking to a stranger, you're already being formal by using the third person. You don't need to say vorrebbe, but you can just say vuole, do you want? because vuole, that already sounds polite. So don't overthink it. Now, and Lou, and that's the last question I can take, I think, really, because it's getting late, is the difference between riuscire, essere in grado, and potere and sapere. They all kind of render the idea of can. Now, potere e sapere, you know the difference. Sapere is about skills, and potere is about the possibility. So the other option that Lou suggested was the verb riuscire, which is irregular. Riuscire, which means to manage to do something. Essere in grado, I'm telling you, don't use it much. It's not very conversational. Essere in grado is like saying to be able to, but it's not common to use. I would use it, for example, in a documentary, like the lion is able to eat a whole gazelle. So it's not something that we say in conversation. So essere in grado, not very common. But it is between potere and riuscire, with the meaning of can, as in having the possibility to do something. What's the difference? I can say, we use riuscire, which is irregular, so you have to look it up. What we're trying to say is, as much as I try, I cannot, or it doesn't have to be negative, but for example, it's like saying to manage to do something. So for example, if the window is stuck and I can't open it, in English you say I can't open the window, but in Italian we're not going to use potere. It's riuscire, non riesco ad aprire la finestra. I'm not managing to open because it's stuck. So it's about can in the sense of succeeding at doing something that is being difficult. It can be used in normal conversation instead of potere. If I want to say, I'll type it, okay? I'll type it in the chat room. Potete venire alla festa? Can you guys come to the party? Question mark, sorry. Potete venire alla festa? Oh, I can broadcast it. So can you guys come to the party? Question mark, sorry. Potete venire alla festa? That's possible. I can say, can you come to the party? But we would probably say in Italian, like a more genuine way of saying would be riuscite a venire alla festa? So what's the difference? Well, if I say, can you come to the party? That's fine. Potete venire is fine. But if I'm trying to say, like, do you think you're going to make it? As in, do you think you're going to manage to come? Riuscite a venire alla festa? Ah, non riesco a venire stasera. I cannot come tonight, but it's because as much as I try, I'm not going to be able to. So that riuscire has that added meaning. But it is irregular and you have to look it up. Ok, perfetto, ragazzi. Grazie mille per tutte le domande. I just want to talk briefly about what's coming to the platform. First of all, some of you are concerned about this final quiz. If you're in Unit 12, 13, you're about to have to take the quiz. There are instructions when you get there, but basically the idea of the quiz is, I'm your private tutor. I want your success. It would be counterproductive for you to go ahead if you really don't know enough for what you should know. So I'm doing it for you, and I'm doing it for me, for the reputation of the program. I want it to work. I don't want anybody to walk out from 0 to Italian without having achieved what they want. Sorry. Okay, so that's why the quiz is there. It's for you to make sure that you are ready to go ahead. There are going to be 5 attempts for the quiz. So you submit, I'll check. If not, you can submit it again up to 5 times. Now, but it is your money and it is your time. So if you find that you just don't care to be ready for the next level, I think you should, but I can't force you. Then you can totally contact me, support@italymedeasy.com, and say, look, I've taken the test 3 times. I'm not getting it right. Can I still move on? Of course. So I'm not going to hold you back, or I'm not going to, keep you as a member for 3 months without giving you new content, obviously. No, it's all about fairness, but no, you don't have to worry about that. Let me talk about what's happening to the platform. As I mentioned earlier, I'm here as your language coach and your tutor, and I know I'm doing a good job because the training is working and you are learning so much. It's just crazy how much you have learned. So that's my job. I want to be your tutor. But the coolness of being able to do it online is that, well, the negative is that we don't get to speak face to face, but I have a solution for that. But the positive is that we can add more material. I can give you more interactive things. I can give you stuff that as a face-to-face tutor, I wouldn't be able to give you. And again, this is like at 10 times the cost. I mean, think about if you are seeing me as a tutor for 12 hours a month, which is what I give you of me on camera, without the exercises, without the PDFs, at $50 an hour, that would be crazy. So the idea of the platform is that I am your personal tutor with a twist, which is the technology. Now, the platform that we've used has been amazing, but also has given us a lot of headaches. And I officially call it the biggest business mistake I've made. And I'm sorry you have to pay the suffering of using the platform. I know in most cases it's worked, but some things just have not been as smooth as we want them. So we need to move away from the platform, and we need to do it before it's too late, because right now there's 400 of you. There's going to be a lot of manual work to migrate, but imagine if there was already 3,000 of you, it'd be a nightmare. So what does this mean to you? The training is going to be the same, the quality is going to be the same. The new platform, and I will try and show you a little bit what it's going to look like, but maybe not, I don't know. But it's going to be 10 times better in every way. It's going to be prettier, but it's going to be more solid, more reliable. We will be able to do a lot more cool things. Just to name one, each lesson will have its own forum, so you don't have to go and look for the forum. We'll be able to have the chat room, which I know it's going to be mind-blowing. It hasn't been now. It hasn't been now because I lost my thought, sorry. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, so yeah, the new platform, the forum. So each unit is going to have it. So the chat. Sorry. Right now, I wasn't able, because we're using a platform that we're using, I couldn't give you the chat to be appearing on every page, and so nobody noticed it. When we move to the new platform, it's going to be on my own server, which means my IT guys will be able to fix things in an hour instead of having to wait 3 days for something to be fixed because we don't own the platform. So overall, it's going to be much better for you. And now, Yasin, you have a concern because the website is broken right now. I have emailed, or I think I have emailed it, but if you have issues currently visualizing the website, I don't know what's going on. Again, it's not on my server. It's really hard to find a solution, but I have sent an alternative link for you to access the platform. So if you use the alternative link, it should work. You should be able to see it beautifully from mobile and computer. So check that email or an announcement. I forgot where I put it, but I will definitely email it to you. Joe sent a link that looks like a humongous link. I don't know if it's going to work, but click on it to see if Joe is right. Grazie, Joe. But yeah, if you have problems accessing the platform now, use that alternative link. That link worked for Sergey. See, exactly. Yeah, it worked for me as well, because from the university, the website looked all broken, and if I use the alternative link, it works. So now, let me talk about the platform a little bit. I mean, there will be a couple of things that we'll have to do, but basically, okay, try to make it simple. As you get to the end of level 1 and you graduate, you will start level 2 on the new platform. In my dreams, when you get access to unit level 2, you will already find level 1 available there for you to revisit and access in the much better way, because there's going to be a curriculum, like a syllabus, that you can go and quickly jump to whatever lesson you want. It's just going to be a lot better, okay? But I'm not sure I will be able to have all of the content of level 1, which is a lot, already transferred manually onto the new platform so that you can go there. So there's a chance that if you are one of the students who signed up during launch or in the first few weeks, when you get to access level 2 on the new platform, level 1 may not be there. So you may have, unfortunately, to log in on 2 different platforms if you want to revisit level 1. But soon, everything is going to be on the new platform, okay? Now, so the quizzes are going to be better. I don't know. I don't want to say too much. I mean, let me see if I can show you. But one thing that I think you're going to love is that at the end of each course, you'll be able to get a certificate of completion. And that certificate, while it has no value because it's just certified by Manu, you will be able to give it to an employer, and they will be able to check that it's authentic, that it's genuine, coming to the website, entering the code that you give, that you find on the certificate. Now, since you'll be moving onto the new platform and you've already done level 1, I need my IT guys to give me a way to issue certificates to you, because you have definitely finished, but not on the new platform. But I have found an amazing team of IT people, and they will make the transition really smooth and easy as much as possible. Now, something that Joe said, and I just saw that Jason said that, what's going to happen to the current forum? Now, like I said, there's going to be new forums. So each unit is going to have its forum. It's going to be very handy. But what happens to the content of the current forum? Well, what I can do for now is to link to the old forum so you can still access it. But I need to check with my IT people whether they're able to import all the content. Probably they are. But initially, you'll have to kind of go to the old forum to look at the old stuff. Nareen, Manu, will I have the last assignment approved? Yes, yeah, everything. I don't know which assignment, but yeah, everything is fine right now. Everything is still going as we want it. Now, let me just try and switch to the screen share. Okay, just a second. And I want to show you things. Now, what you're looking is a demo of what the new website might look like. Of course, it's going to be customized, but so you will have a dashboard that will say how many courses you are taking or have taken, how many units, quizzes. Here you will find all the courses you're currently enrolled in. There's going to be more courses coming soon, obviously. The quizzes you have taken, the assignments, the progression of the course that you're in. And if there are any events like webinars, everything is going to appear here in your dashboard. So that's going to be good. The other thing that you'll be able to do is, if there are notifications, you will find them here. So it's going to be very easy for you to see what's happening. There will be internal messages. So I'll be able to message you personally. So I don't even need to send you an email. You will find messages from me or other members if we give that option. There's one thing. Now, let's go to, now this is just a demo, so it's not how the platform will look like for us. But let's say that eventually we'll have more courses on the platform. We'll be adding the courses that I already have, but I'll be creating a lot more. But let's say that, I don't know, you're interested in this course. I'll just show you quickly. Actually, maybe that's not the best. Yeah. So each course will have its syllabus. So that's something that we are missing right now, and I realize that we want it. So each unit will be quickly accessible. Right now, I'm not enrolled in the course, so I can't click, but you will be able to go directly to the unit that you want. I can't show you the quiz, but so that's the syllabus. Okay. Let me just find another course maybe that has forums. That way you can say maybe a little bit better. Again, so we'll be able to create groups. So for example, a study group can be formed for each particular course. The forum is dedicated to the course. There are events associated. So everything is going to be amazing, and it's going to look really, really, really neat. Now, this is just a demo, and I am getting the IT people to do an amazing job at creating a new website while I'm still producing the content. And here's quickly what the quiz might look like. So start the quiz. It can be timed. It doesn't have to be timed, but there'll be different types of questions. There's an option of showing you the answers if you want. Okay, and then let me see. And you'll be able to submit it, and then I'll be able to either check it or have it checked automatically, like for example here. So how cool is that? And if you want to retake it, it's going to be very, very easy to retake it. So yes, it is just a demo, but basically that is what it's going to kind of look like, but it's going to look like Italy Made Easy, obviously, because it is an Italy Made Easy thing. So, but yeah, that's the idea. So it's going to be such a big jump in quality for you to be able to access that platform. And I just, Joe, will we still be able to create new threads in the forum that are not related to particular lessons? There's a lot of things that I don't know yet, to be honest. It's the platform is going to be so powerful that I need to discover what it can do. But the answer is going to be yes. It can do everything. We can do, actually, I'm hiring these people, and I've already told them, look, when we launch, and if my students, they feel that something should happen, we'll make it happen. That's the beauty of offering the course on my own website, on my own platform, on my own server. We can do anything. So there will be, for example, places where you can kind of just vote for the next piece of content. There's going to be so much, and I can't wait. And I hope that you are patient enough to put up with the little downtime or issues that might arise when we change. Also, something that I have recorded a video for this, but let me tell you now, is there will be an out plan in case you, because there'll be a little bit of delay, especially if you started the course at the very beginning. We're doing this live, as in you are progressing with the content while I'm creating it, while I'm creating the new platform, while I don't have time to sleep. So there might be a delay between you graduating and you being able to access level 2. It could be like a week or two. So I have an out plan because it's totally fair, because you are a paying customer. So if you're not happy with the wait, you can always contact me. If it's a monthly membership, you can just cancel it. But careful with that. I'll tell you in a second. If you have a yearly membership, still let me know, because I so if you want to cancel and you have a yearly membership, normally you wouldn't be able to, because it's only for the first 30 days that you can cancel. But since I'm changing the product that I'm offering you, totally get in touch if you're not happy to wait, or if you find that the issues are just too much for you. Totally understand. Now, is there going to be a mobile app? Well, not an app per se. I'm really reluctant to produce apps, because with apps you have to maintain them really up to date to work on all platforms. And then the moment it doesn't, you get 1-star feedback on an app, and I just would ruin my reputation. But this website will be totally mobile friendly, and the chat, there will be, as I promised initially, I keep my promises. Only problems will delay my actions, but you know me, I'm a man of my own word. So yeah, there will be a standalone app for the chat, so you won't even need to log into the website. It's a desktop mobile app, or desktop app or mobile app just for the chat. So yeah, now the chat, in case you haven't really used it, because nobody is there, so I'm sorry about that, but you'll be able to do video chat, audio chat. So here's the direction that we are going. As soon as we get, actually, it will happen sooner. I will be hiring other Italian teachers to help us. Like I said, I cannot possibly be there for 500, 1,000, 2,000 people. It's just impossible. And my time is better spent producing content than marking content. But I realize that ideally there should be more interaction. I also have to remember that financially I have to be careful, because you're only paying what you're paying. So I want to give you as much as I possibly can while maintaining, obviously, a viable business. But yeah, there will be more Italians being involved, and they'll be available in the chat room. Initially, I said that would happen at 1,000 members, but it might happen sooner than that. But yeah, you'll be able to chat to Italians. You'll be able to video chat, group video chat, all as part of your membership. Now, Susan, as a fully paid up technophobe, will all this stuff be difficult? I don't think it will be difficult, but also it'll be optional. Like I said, imagine that I'm your tutor and we meet for lessons. That is what your main goal with me is. And I want it to be like that. I don't want to distract you with technology. So if something is beyond you, you don't have to use it. Okay. Again, everything that I'm offering is just added value that as a face-to-face tutor, I wouldn't be able to, but you don't have to use it. But in theory, I think it's going to be quite easy. And there will be tutorials. I'm going to have to refilm all the tutorials to show how things are done. But yeah, it should be okay. It shouldn't be too hard. Now, the last thing I want to say is this. The reason I suggest that you don't cancel your subscription just because you're a little frustrated is that subscriptions will no longer be available. I'm really going in that direction. I'm still assessing the pros and cons, but it looks like I won't be offering subscriptions anymore. They put a lot of pressure on me, not good for me. And at the same time, there are technical issues with payments being rejected, and then people kind of falling through the cracks and still having access to the platform while they haven't paid for 2 or 3 months. So stuff happens. So my idea is, for 2 reasons: to avoid putting myself in the position of this pressure that you have. And now you guys, you keep the subscription. You will be the only people in the world with a subscription. So don't cancel. That's what I'm saying. But my idea is this. Some people, like was it George? I forgot, sorry. When you said that it takes you 4 days to complete a lesson and you want to go ahead, the reason why it hasn't been possible for level 1 is that I was producing it as you were learning it. So I could not give you access to unit 2 or 5 when I hadn't produced it. So it has to be dripped. It also has to be dripped for your success. That's my strong belief, that you should not have access to a lot of content all at the same time. But it's your choice if you want. So my idea is for this. You have a subscription. So for you, it will continue as it is. So as I release unit 1 of level 2, you will have access to unit 1, then unit 2, unit 3, everything like that. Everything's going to be the same. You will also have access to the complete level 1 because you finished it. So that's going to be there. For new people, what I think is going to happen is that new students will only be able to purchase a course at the end of when it's produced. So right now, they will be able to purchase level 1 because it's fully produced. So they'll be able to purchase it. And then I'll be able to stop the dripping or the drip feeding for them, because if they request, they want to have access to all. So the option of accessing the whole level will be there for levels that have been produced, obviously. So level 1 will be all there. At the end of level 2, new students will be able to purchase level 2 as a standalone product. So I don't think there will be a subscription anymore. Prices for each course will be higher than what you're paying and higher than what you have paid. So don't worry about that. I said, you're my supporters. So when you jumped on the platform in February or March or even now, you are putting a lot of trust in me, and I reward you with great content that works, but also the best value. So don't worry about, for example, Joe and Joy. I know that you are, I can't remember what membership you have, Joe, but like Joy, you have a lifetime membership because you were one of the super supporters. So nothing changes for you. But I just want to make sure that there will be more value for you. For example, each level will be sold at $129. So in a year, with your subscription, right now you will have access to 3.5 levels, which is like $500 worth of content, and you're paying whatever you're paying. So the value is going to be there for you. That is for sure. Sorry. Rhonda, grazie mille. I'm sharing something from Rhonda. Actually, I think I had a question from you, didn't I, Rhonda? Did I have a... Oh, no, actually, I had received a question from Rhonda and Joy that had no text. So, and Jeannie, I don't know what your questions were, but Thank you, Rhonda. I have tried to learn Italian many times, and Manu's method and teaching is the best. Grazie mille. So I think we'll wrap it up. But basically, what I ask you to do is focus on the learning. Don't let me distract you with technology, and don't let the bugs bite you. Meaning, please be patient. I'm here for you. And especially now that I've quit my university job, I do have a lot more time to be able to be more present. I can't be present with everybody, but I will be present. Also, something that I set out. Yeah, Joy, you don't have a single complaint. I know, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand that whatever you're paying as a subscriber is going to be the best value ever. Now, the other thing that I haven't mentioned that I would like to mention is, actually, it's probably too far ahead. I won't tell you, but expect great things. As a digital platform, I don't want you to believe, because anybody who tells you they're lying to you, that you can learn Italian just with Manu or just with anything else. You have to do other things. You have to go out and speak. So the best way I see From Zero to Italian work for you is as a huge money saver and as a huge learning system, because I know that I teach things in a different way and they work. The way I teach seems to really get to students. So I'm grateful for the gift, and I'm happy to share with you. But grazie, Gabriel. I get so happy and distracted at the same time. So, I can't believe most of you are still here. Grazie mille. It must be very late for some of you. But what was I saying? I don't know. Yeah, the way you should be using the platform ideally is that you are still seeing a private tutor because you need to speak to somebody, okay? But how is that? Imagine if you were paying your private tutor 12 hours a week, which you wouldn't, at $50. Don't test me on my maths, but that's like $500, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, $600 a month. You wouldn't be spending that much anyway. But what I said, but you would have to still take the 12 hours of training for you to be able to understand everything that I'm sharing with you. So from Zero to Done is a way for you to cut the cost, because you get all the information that is permanent and it's accessible multiple times with materials that you don't have from a tutor. But so since you're saving so much money, I still recommend you find a tutor or somebody to just talk to. If you don't ask them to learn, you can pay a lot less. If you're just asking for conversation, here's a tip. If your language tutor is charging $50, if you say, I just want to do conversation with no teaching, because I'm doing the teaching for $20 a month or whatever, then you can pay probably $30. So my idea is that I give you the knowledge and then you use some real people to talk. But soon there will be. Nicholas, have you tried Go Speaky? Did you like it? I actually do. I found that it was a little bit hard to find people, but it is a good platform, I think. So there will be, once the platform has achieved what I wanted to achieve, and I can't tell you, it's so big, but there will be option for you to find Italians to talk to right inside the platform at a fee, because obviously for whatever the cost will be, it's still nothing. I would not be able to afford to pay Italians to talk to you. It would be added services, but my idea for the platform is to be the one place to go to find stuff to learn Italian, whether it's me or not. But yeah, anyway, it's getting late. I have to let you go. I have to go pack. Grazie mille ragazzi, è stato bellissimo vedervi, è stato un piacere. Il webinar ha funzionato. It worked so smoothly. I can't believe it. Hello Talk is also another good one. Jason, say Hello Talk. Esatto. Ok, grazie mille ragazzi. Buonanotte a tutti o buona giornata se è giorno, ok? Ciao ciao, un bacio. Ciao ciao.